Bucky's Basement. Bucky's Basement.
Welcome to this week's episode of Bucky's Basement. I'm Bucky, and as always in the basement with me today, I have Old Boy.
Old boy.
And Juice Box.
It's me, a juice box.
And we are back with another episode of Casting Cage. This week we are reviewing 2001's Captain Corelli's Italian accent.
I wanted you to say that in the Italian accent.
Sorry. Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
You can do it worse than that.
I was going to make you guys do that on this episode because we are back with another Italian accent movie from Nick Cage, and we are so excited. This is from 2001. Captain Corelli's Mandolin has a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
It has a 5.9 on IMDb, a little bit better on there. I've
29%.
28% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
I've been excited for this one since Time to Kill. I knew it was coming. I knew it was like going to be. I was hoping Time to Kill 2.
Maybe?
Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
It is not that movie.
But Captain Corelli's Mandolin came out in 2001. It is nearly impossible to find.
It's on Amazon.
Oh, is it on it?
You can rent it on Amazon.
We actually obtained a copy of this DVD in which you can, if you're looking at us or watching us through YouTube right now, which you can do if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast network, we do these episodes on YouTube. They have fun clips of the movie. They have fun, just anecdotes. When we go through the cast, you're going to see those on the screen. You're going to see this incredible cover of Captain Corelli's Mandolin on this DVD.
That is one way to describe it. Incredible.
It's an airbrushed version.
Dude,
it's
it
like
is
that
such
shit
early Photoshop or like a glamour shot almost.
That's it. It's that thing. I was going to say it's that store you went to in the mall to get those shots made, glamour shots.
It looks like they airbrushed part of his face.
Yeah.
Like his face is, something's wrong there.
Look at this. You see the front of this, okay, and then you see the back of this, and nowhere on this DVD, front or back, does it say Christian Bale in any form or fashion. And that is like, I don't know. It's shameful to Christian Bale in this movie.
It's a shame to the movie.
You're right.
Was it a surprise?
But at the same time, I don't think he was that big of an actor in 2001, was he? He hadn't had his breakout roles yet. He hadn't done
American Psycho.
Had he done American Psycho?
I feel like
even if he did, that movie was I don't know.
Probably around the same time. We'll get into it. He's a talent, dude.
He is incredible. Let's get into it. Captain Corelli's Mandolin. That's probably as good as Nick Cage is going to do it in an accent in this movie. Was directed by John Madden, not the football guy. Yeah, I know. You got your hopes up. I saw your face.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
John Madden also directed Shakespeare in Love. In 1998, won Best Picture. He didn't win Best Director, but it did win Best Picture.
Okay.
He also directed The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Never saw it.
In 2012, and The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel 2. And those are about all of his credits besides Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
I mean, the recognizable ones, I feel like he'd steadily worked. I looked at his IMDb, and he had stuff consistently coming out every year, I feel like. But.
Yeah, but they weren't, I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really, yeah, you're right.
Nothing stuck out.
No. All right, so let's get into the cast before we dive into the plot of Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Obviously, we have our... the reason we do this podcast, the reason we record Nick Cage movies in chronological order, Mr. Nicholas Coppola / Cage. He plays Antonio Corelli.
Yep.
I feel like I'm in what is Inglourious Bastards when they're trying to do the accent.
They're trying to fake their way through. Yeah.
Antonio Corelli.
That's basically it. And I think Nick Cage also is trying to fake his way through this movie.
Absolutely. Let's get into that accent. Antonio Corelli is one of the captains in the Italian army,
Right.
which is led by Mussolini,
Correct.
Yeah.
who is friends with Adolf Hitler.
I don't know if friends.
Okay,
I don't know if
sorry.
that's how you
Butt
describe it.
buddies?
but-
Allies. Yeah.
And this is like taking place like towards the end of the war, right?
1943 is the beginning of this movie. 1945 is the end,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken. So we have him invading this island in Greece.
Right.
The island in Greece is inhabited by John Hurt, who's the doctor and father. What an incredible, fucking actor of all time.
Dude. Yes, I agree. And then I went back and I was like looking through his IMDb and I was like, yeah, I liked him in all this stuff, but there was then he's in a lot of stuff. I was like, I don't remember this, or this was like whatever. But I mean, it doesn't matter. He was in Alien. He was in 1984. Like those are two fucking
Solid,
classic fucking sci-fi type movies.
Dude, I was looking some stuff up and I was like, dude, he's in King Ralph. Do y'all remember that movie King Ralph? When
Yeah.
you're kid? He's in Rob Roy. He's
Rob
in
Roy is
Contact. He's
I
in
don't remember him in Contact.
He's Garrick
He's the guy that,
Ollivander in the Harry Potter film series.
yeah.
He's in that entire series.
duh.
For Vendetta, Indiana Jones and the
Oh,
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull,
Yeah.
Outlander.
I mean, I don't acknowledge that Indiana Jones, but
right. Yeah. Non-canon.
Anyway, big actor here. He's the father and doctor of this island. His daughter is Pelagia. Penelope Cruz. Which, good God.
Yeah.
And I'll
So-
just say it.
go ahead, say it.
Good God.
Oh.
She could be one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life in this movie.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
super hot, super
Yeah.
hot. So, I just want to say, you're talking about Nick Cage's accent. I mean,
Right.
she is
Okay.
doing
South American.
Spanish accent, right? That's what
Correct,
she's
right.
from Spain or whatever. So it's this is a Spanish accent, right?
Yeah.
It's just her.
I don't. Yeah,
It's just her talking.
Yeah.
So
Still
it's
better
like
than
Nick
Nick
Cage
Cage's.
in some of those earlier movies we
Yeah.
reviewed.
Still better than Nick Cage's accent.
So let's just talk about it real quick then.
All right. Yeah.
Since we're talking about accents right off the bat.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking about is why do you have to try to do an Italian accent? Because obviously they weren't speaking English in this in this
Right.
country and shit. So why does he have to try to do it in an Italian accent? It's we already know this is a movie. I can suspend disbelief or suspend belief. Just talk in your
Right.
normal voice and do some good acting. Honestly, a
Right.
bad accent takes you out of the fucking movie and it's unnecessary.
Every time he talks. It's tough. And I guess it's because everybody else is doing an accent. And then but his
Sure.
but I remember I watched a movie or part of a movie once and it had DiCaprio in it and he was the only one not doing an accent.
Right.
And I was like
So you didn't like it?
I did well, no.
You didn't like him or you didn't like everybody else?
I just didn't like any of it. I was too distracted.
I was distracted. I mean,
Yeah.
every
That's
single every single character they cast in this movie is not that nationality.
Maybe
it's
maybe
you could have at least brought in a German, or you could have at least brought in
Sure.
an Italian. They had some Italians in the background. They all looked like Pedro Pascal to me.
I did think I saw Ralph Macchio in there. I was like, is that the Karate Kid back there?
Later on, I want to get into the reason Nick Cage chose this, because he's coming off all of these blockbuster movies.
I would love to talk about that too because I have theories.
Why he chose to do this and this accent and this terrible acting to me.
I think before you jump into that, the last thing I want to say on his accent is that he is Italian and he should have access to authentic Italian accents at the very least. And for him to not be able
somewhere down there.
well,
Yeah.
he's a Coppola, man.
Right.
Yeah.
He
I
probably
know.
what's his method? He does something for 2 weeks.
2
So
weeks,
he
he
probably
should-
hung out with somebody with an Italian
should-
accent for 2 weeks.
I don't know if he did for this film. That's the problem.
That
Yeah,
person
his
was just
character
fucking
from
with
Time
it the
to
whole
Kill.
entire time.
No, I'm talking like a D.
They just put him in a pizza restaurant.
You nailed it.
God. All right, let's get back into the cast. We also have the amazing Christian Bale as Mondros in this movie.
Yeah.
He is the original of the love triangle that's going on here. He is what do you call that? Like
local-
a freedom fighter for
Yeah.
Greece. And then finally, casted, I have David Morrissey, who plays Gunther in this movie. He is the
Nazi.
He's the German officer,
Yeah,
Nazi.
Call it what
Yeah.
it is. It's
So
a Nazi.
he's the Nazi. David Morrissey, if you didn't know, he was the guy who played the governor in The Walking Dead for like 4 seasons.
Right.
Like he ran that one compound. He had the eye patch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, dude,
like
I kind of like that guy.
So this guy just loves being a fascist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was terrible in that too.
Yeah.
You can look up some other things. I'm sure he's as white and awful as you can be.
Yeah.
So that's it. That is our cast. Before we get into the plot, we like to do a segment on Bucky's Basement. We're doing these casting cage episodes where we kick it over to Juicebox. He's going to read the plot of the movie that you can find online for Captain Corelli's Mandolin, and then we kick it back over to him for his own version of the plot in a segment that we like to call
Plot by Juicebox.
All right, this is just from IMDb. When a fisherman leaves to fight with the Greek army during World War II, his fiancée falls in love with the local Italian commander. Okay, but it's hey, it's me, Captain Corelli. I play the mandolin for you. You fall in love with me. This is a great time to be alive. I don't know.
With Jamaican there for a minute. Towards the end.
Yeah,
Which actually I was kind of into. I was like, yeah, it's a beach movie.
Was it a great time to be alive? We were talking, the setting here
I
is...
mean, they're living it up like in the first part of this movie.
there
Like,
is-
Yeah.
like,
That is
we'll,
true.
We'll get into
No
it. but, like,
consequence. Yeah, for the majority of the movie.
So the movie opens, and we are enjoying ourselves, like they said, in Cellophonia, Greece, in 1940.
cell phone, yeah.
Yeah.
Cellphonia?
That's what
Cell-
you're, yeah,
Cellphonia.
That's where they put. That's where they wrap your cigarettes at.
That's Selphania.
The first thing that we see in this movie, we get a fish hook and a hammer, right? We're introduced to the doctor. He is like one of the prestigious or prominent people on the island. He is pulling out a pea from a guy's ear with a fish hook and a hammer that has been in there for they said 13 years or something.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
thought he was deaf in that ear for most of his life or something like that. Dude,
Right.
that right off the bat, I was like, did I miss something? Like, did he really just pull a pea out of this guy's ear? Like, I had to double take. Like, what is
dehydrated? Here's
Okay.
my all right. Right off the bat, too, I've got a question because this cat's supposed to be. He's lived on this island his whole life. Like, is this the first time he's gone to the doctor about his hearing?
I don't know, but he said
mean,
that. You remember
you know
what
how
he said
dudes are.
What he said after that is he was like, "I'm the first one of all of my people to get an operation." And it's like,
fair.
God
That's-
damn, dude.
That's fair.
That was
all right,
funny.
that's fair. All right.
Got it.
It was. He was real excited about that.
I laughed more in the first 5 minutes of this movie than I laughed all of Family Man and City of Angels.
Yeah.
I was already.
Yeah, there's nothing
We keep
funny
going.
in City of Angels. At
It's
all.
a lot of
No.
good stuff. So what we learn about Captain Corelli's Mandolin in the beginning of this, we're in 1940. Everything is great. We're on this island in Greece. We learn about Christian Bale's Mondros and Pelagia or
Pelagia.
Pelagia. Mondros and Pelagia. We're getting a love story right off the bat. Cute, flirting, out on the lake. Doing things.
For show doing things.
And then, what we also learn about the doctor is that there's kind of there's going to be a war coming. He explains that, and he is crazy in this one scene with the gun with Pelagia, where he's like, "Look, here, take this gun.
Right. Use it to
use-
defend yourself.
Use it to defend yourself or on yourself."
I mean,
I'm.
That's some serious shit. Like,
but not when there's an invading
yeah, your
army.
country's
know.
being invaded, and soldiers have been known to do bad things to.
It is a
Yeah.
No.
it
which
is
we
a
learn
known fact.
throughout the movie through radio transcripts, like TV thing,
Right.
so they do it in the background a lot, like
Yeah.
news bulletins and things like that, like overdubs.
Yeah.
Pretty well done. What I noticed off the beginning of this is normally I'm upset because we're showing like the Twin Towers, or we're showing this, we're explaining where we are.
Right. Establishing shots
in the beginning,
Why do you
but they're all the
hate
same.
establishing shots.
I
so
don't
much?
know. They're the same fucking thing in every Nick Cage movie we watch. In the beginning,
In
it has
all
to tell
movies.
where
Every
we are.
movie.
every movie, all
Sure,
movies.
this movie, 1940 Greece. That the very first note I wrote are, these shots are already fucking incredible. Like, it
Oh,
is
yeah.
Same.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
I wrote down like halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way into this movie. I wrote down, "This is a fucking movie." Like this is like what a movie. Like when you think about a movie,
Yeah.
like in just the sense, like it's like going to a location and
Right,
hiring,
right.
having all these extras and having all this shit
Yeah.
and just like shooting something like. And making like every scene look just incredible. Like
Incredible.
it's just like, I don't know. It's like kind of a masterpiece in that way. Like the way it looks and just like the whole fucking scale of it, kind of. I guess.
Yeah, you're right. It's epic in scope. Like,
Yeah, and it's just like
But also-
it feels very authentic. You know,
Sure,
it doesn't feel like
yeah.
a set or anything. It feels
Right.
like it feels like they went to fucking Greece, this island, and actually shot this fucking movie because
It made me wanna
somebody
go
gave
there.
them millions of dollars to do it.
for sure. Do you see all
Immediately made me
those
wanna go
old
there.
dudes like sitting around drinking wine, eating bread, smoking cigarettes all
mean,
day? I was like,
come on.
I'm a fucking retire in a Greek island. That's
Yeah.
that's all I want to do.
Yeah. We've got a marriage promise between Bale and Penelope Cruz. He
Yep.
promises to marry her before war. We see this like kind of like going off to war marriage proposal like event that night,
Celebration,
the
yeah.
celebration in the town square or whatever.
Yeah.
And what it immediately pissed me off. Fuck Christian Bale, like off the back. Mondras, not Christian Bale. Fuck Mondras, because with this chair tying scene, I was like, what the fuck, right? He gets on his knees. He starts crying. He's like, I love you. I love you. I love you. And he gets up and goes, tomorrow I go to war. Dance
Right.
with me. And he grabs her and she goes to get up and he's tied her to the fucking chair,
Right,
embarrassing
which is-
him for her in front of all these people in the town.
Right,
Yeah.
which is symbolic because that's what the dad doesn't want for her, right? Is to be tied down to this loser or who he thinks
The
is a
dad
loser.
does not approve off the bat.
Off the
You
bat,
do
yeah.
not marry someone from like Greece. You marry a foreigner,
Right, but
like somebody who'll make you happy.
Yeah.
He expects her to thrive, not be tied down to that role.
To that dude.
Yeah, and so like it's great symbolism.
And then
Damn, I didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah,
that's
right.
That's
God,
it.
I
Yeah.
didn't either.
It's a fucking movie. This is a
Yeah.
movie.
It's a good
The next day, we're going off to war, right? We're getting on the boat. Christian Bale is Mondras is his character. He's like way too excited to go to war.
I mean, he's like a 20, these are young
Right.
people. He's probably like 18 to 20 years old. He's probably like just fucking like, yeah, let's go. I want to defend my country. I want to fucking
Yeah.
kill these foreigners. Or
and they think
whatever,
there's
you know.
glory in war. Like that's
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
that's what they've been. They've been sold that there's glory in war, and there's not.
Okay.
It's a false.
The other issue I have here is when he's getting on that boat, he's ignoring Penelope Cruz. Like, he's ignoring his girl. He pays more attention to his mom. He's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Gets on the thing. And then
And she's like, I'll write you every day. And then what she's like when.
and then you get a dub over, a voiceover, and it's like, I've wrote you 1,000 letters and you haven't written me back. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I was just screamed at the TV at that point. I have it circled. I said, write her. Like, write her.
So I don't know if you picked up on it. Like when he comes back, like he has all the letters that she wrote him,
I
like
know.
in his
I saw
jacket.
it.
Right.
And he says, I can't read.
Oh, we're right.
Right.
Yeah.
I
so
can't
like
read or write. And she should have known that before he
that's
went
what,
off.
yeah, that's what I
Right.
was thinking too. It's like, what do you expect from this guy? You write him every day.
Right.
He can't fucking read. You're like taunting him.
You
like,
grew up on this island with this dude. You know he didn't go to school.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a miss in the movie. You're right. You're absolutely right. Next thing we learn is the invasion of the islands of Greece, the movement north of the Italian army via Hitler's. I said, this is Hitler's Italy / Greece doing business as Mussolini. I got a DBA written down. And I'm like, dude,
Kinda.
this is like, I mean, we're getting intense here.
Yeah. Which I couldn't really understand. Like,
So Italy,
I guess there wasn't. No.
Yeah,
I
you
understand that. Like, they're on an island. I guess there was no confrontation for the Italians just sailed over to the island and were like, "Hey, we're taking this over," basically.
I
and
guess
like
so.
there wasn't any resistance or whatever. You know,
Nothing,
like
yeah.
There was resistance a little bit. Are you talking about in real life or in this movie?
I'm talking about in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's like it just seems like they just roll into town and like it's like
Yeah,
they
just go to the front door.
Yeah,
They just go to the mayor's house and they're like, "Hey, dude, we're
And
taking over," and he's
like,
which you
He's
get
like,
to the note.
bring me a Nazi. I want the real intimidating
right.
ones.
I fucking love that scene so much.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
It's great. So we meet Antonio in this because Antonio is in the Italian army. He is like one of the guys who, if you ever seen one of those movies where you got a bunch of people marching in a big like triangle or rectangle or square or whatever, and they're marching. You got the guy off to the side who's like the leader of that square or that section. That's where Antonio comes in, and he's got a fucking mandolin on his back and not a rifle, assault rifle.
A mandolin in like a pouch, like a
purse.
carrier,
It's a baby.
a mandolin purse. Yeah, so I love that scene because it's like they give him the note, the mayor passes the note out to him or whatever, and he reads it, and it just says "fuck off," which is fucking
it's
awesome.
It's
It's so awesome. And I wrote down, it's like, of course that dude said "fuck off" because like they already hate the Italians, and it's
Sure.
like a commander that rolls into town with a fucking mandolin on his back. Like, no, I'm not surrendering to you. Fuck off.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck off. Pick a different island, man.
Which is great because then the mayor says, bring me a Nazi, bring me a German, bring me someone who with a high rank. So that's
Right.
where David Morrissey Gunther comes in. They bring him. He's one of 200 Germans on the island or something like that.
Right.
And he's the
De
highest
facto
ranking officer. And
boss.
they said that they would rather surrender to a German's dog than an Italian. So you got the
Right.
Greece and Italy thing.
Which is which is great.
Not cool, which is it plays into a lot of this movie, obviously. Then you get the Italians on the beach. They set up camp. We learn that they're singers. They're not really fighters. They're singers.
I don't. I mean, if you heard Nick Cage sing, I'm not sure they're singers.
I mean, dude, do you think he just jumped at this like opportunity? He was like, oh yes, I get to sing opera again.
There's no doubt.
I just
in my
sang
mind.
opera in my last movie. I get to sing opera in this movie.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
When he was walking through the underwear in the underwear with the family man. So we're on the beach, and one of my favorite things is the Carlo, can you sing? The line. They're singing, they're shaving, they're just hanging out, dudes. Looks like Vietnam.
Kind of, yeah.
And like he comes in, Carlo, can you sing? And like just starts singing, and this. I said,
I mean, it
I
looks like
wrote
a
down what the
fucking
fuck is happening.
Party. I was like, I want to be a part of this party.
No
like,
kidding,
This
man.
is a
I
nice
mean,
ass beach. There's topless
topless
ladies.
beach.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
let's
Topless
fucking
beach.
go.
So obviously they're taking over. They're going like kind of house to house. Captain Corelli goes and meets the whatever family this is. Basically the Dr. Dad and Penelope Cruz.
Right.
Yeah.
Goes up to the house, introduces himself, and then the doctor calls him in for some serious talk, and he's in love with the girl. We saw that. He landed. They're doing the parade through the town. He makes eye contact with
Natural,
her.
yeah,
He wants to know
attraction.
love at first sight, whatever you want to call it.
Right. But then he starts talking to her,
Yeah.
and do y'all think he's charming in this?
No, and I can't understand why she falls for him.
It's the mandolin.
No.
The
But
mandolin.
she had-
I
he
mean,
hadn't
the
even played
mandolin
it
is
yet.
the key.
I mean, I understand.
that opens everything.
The
up.
mandolin has nothing to do with this
It has
movie.
It's called Captain Corelli. It's not called Captain Corelli. It's called
Correct.
Captain Corelli's mandolin.
That's true,
It-
but the mandolin does nothing.
It opens
It
his
does
legs.
nothing.
It
It makes a
does
fucking
everything.
German cry, a Nazi cry, because he says it's beautiful. But that's
Everything-
all the mandolin does.
everything
No.
changes when he plays it, because the next day he lands it.
Are you talking about when he's drunk playing it?
Yeah,
No,
when
he-
he's out in the courtyard and he plays her song for her, and when he plays the song and goes there and tells her he played that song and it's called Pelagia's Song, that opened it up. That was
Sure.
the whole thing.
Yeah, okay, just like in Just Friends when he plays when Jamie smiles.
Didn't see that movie.
You saw the movie.
Didn't see it. All right. Anyway.
He's Jersey, skis in his jeans. Anyway, all right, so we are back to Captain Corelli's Mandolin. We sometimes get off track in these episodes. Anyway, we get the father's approval for Captain Corelli, right?
And fuck
Like
the
right
dad.
off the bat. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's like Christian Bale, who?
Well, because he already he wants something better for his daughter. Like that's
Yeah.
exactly it. He knows Christian Bale in it, and there's probably like on this island, there's probably not a big pool of dudes
That's
that are
it,
like
right.
really like
He's a fisherman, and an
But
illiterate fisherman.
It is crazy. Like he straight up tells him, he's like, my wife, like what's her name, Pelagia,
yeah.
her mom. Like he stole her from another husband,
The
from
love
another
speech.
dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like he's straight up telling him to just come in and steal her, like
Right. Yeah.
right off the bat, telling
The
him to do it.
occupier.
Yeah,
The fascist occupier who's in his homeland or on his island. He's like, yeah, man, holler at my girl,
Yeah,
my daughter.
But I think we're jumping ahead though, because he says that like after they've already started to like kindle a little thing, because he
Sure.
stays with them and like first off she fucking hates him, like
right,
like
as she should.
yeah, and like she has like he comes back from party, I don't need like
Yeah, drunk
somewhere,
one night.
no, not even drunk. He comes back from like I don't know, doing something, and she's got that gun and it's like drawn on him or whatever.
yeah.
And they have this interaction here.
I've never aimed a gun at anybody. Never in my life.
He's like shook.
He's never
Very difficult for you to have to put up with us.
Which yeah.
It must be very difficult for you to have to live with yourself. You lie in the sun and swim in the sea and flirt with your prostitutes. And there are people I know, people I grew up with, who are fighting for their lives and dying for what they believe in. And all you do is sing. What's there to sing about? We're in the middle of a war, not an opera house. And you think you are so cultured with your pasta and your panettone and your puffed up opera. Why don't you take your holiday on somebody else's island?
Penelope.
Look, I understand. That's
I mean-
not an Italian accent, but
No, I know. But I mean, that's what I was like. It's great when, like, right before this, like, speech by her, I wrote down in my notes, I was like, this is so fucked up to, like, think about. Like, this is an invading army, and they're trying to, like, buddy up with everybody and, like, act like everything is cool and just like, hey, we're in town, we're, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
and it's just like, that was fucking with me mentally, like, kind of just, like, trying
Right.
to wrap my mind around that, like, mindset of just, like, this is the invader, and they're coming with a smile on their face. It's like,
Yeah,
And hitting on the girls. And let's go a
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
above that, like Inception type shit. Then you got the Germans being nice to the Italians. Like, and,
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, it's a whole
yeah,
fucked up
I
thing.
mean, that whole scene
because
gets,
that's the sell too, right? Like, hey, at least we're not the Germans.
Yeah.
yeah. The whole occupier thing is shitty.
But I think it just goes to say too, like he said, he never aimed a gun at somebody, which feels like bullshit, obviously.
Right.
But like, these were kids, more or less. I mean, Cage didn't look like a kid,
right.
but like
the soldiers, yeah.
they were just drafted into the war,
Right.
or into the army. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So maybe they didn't, like, they had no desire to really go to war, and that's like they talk about that later on in a different scene.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It's not like they're fully committed to the cause. They just have to be there too.
yeah. It almost feels like these were people that were recruited from maybe like the same town or something like that, like
Right,
and already kind of
yeah.
knew each other and were just like,
Yeah.
here you are, you're in this platoon and you train and then we
Yeah.
ship you off to this island or whatever.
And let's enjoy life and sing a cappella as much as we
Yeah.
can, because that seems to be a
Barbershop quartet.
theme. Yeah, in Nick Cage movies.
I mean, that's the part we didn't hear. It's the second half of that little monologue there, like where he comes back and it's like, we sing for this and we sing for this, and he like kind of, he redeems himself a little bit there, and especially that's the first turn I feel like for Penelope Cruz's character, like
To see there's more to it. Yeah.
yeah, when she's like, okay, this is Yeah, it's not an invading army. This is a person that's like
Right.
has feelings and
Yeah.
So-
He's got culture.
So
Yeah.
he has a person. He has feelings. She's starting to see that, and then what happens? Old Medras
Yeah.
is back from the war.
Comes
the first
back.
time.
Yeah.
Injured up.
Mandras. He's come up. He's got like elephantitis of the feet.
That's
'cause he's
so.
walked
Did he just
forever.
like run away? Like that's why I couldn't
I think he
understand.
just
Was he
left.
on like the front? Okay, he just like deserted or
Yeah.
like
Well, I think he couldn't just come back because it's occupied, I think. So he had to like sneak back in.
Maybe that was it. He said he walked the entire way home.
right?
But it's an island.
Well, yeah.
Yo, I'm calling bullshit on that. Then I
Well,
need to
you
go
know what
back
I
and
mean.
look at that scene.
But yeah, I think he couldn't just like roll back on a boat. I think he had to like sneak back in. He's a fisherman, right? So I think he snuck back
Yeah.
and then
I really
Yeah.
wish I would have looked up the geography of this island.
Right then, and
there
then,
are 6,000 islands in Greece.
Oh, really?
And 227 of them are inhabitable.
wow.
I had questions about that too. I didn't look up the actual thing, but I was like, why did they need this island I'm sure they did it to multiple islands, but
Yeah, and it felt like they were talking about it was like a way to like launch to something else or
Right,
something
yeah,
maybe
so
from there later on.
some gateway island or something.
Yeah, something.
At this point in the movie, I wrote down Christian Bale is so much better of an actor than Nick Cage. It's unreal.
In this movie.
In this movie, sure, I will give you that. Like
He's a
one-on-one,
talent,
why
yeah.
is he not on the cover of this DVD? Why is his name up here, not up here? I mean, he steals this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like
So-
with the different like variations of Christian Bale you get in this, he
Right.
plays 4 different characters. Like
Does
this
he?
is
He has progression. He has
what
an
I'm saying
arc.
is like it's
He's-
not. I'm not talking like Nutty Professor shit. I'm talking like
I understand. I understand. I just feel
he
I
starts
feel
young and excited, and then he's defeated, and then he gets angry again, and then he's like he's evil Christian Bale at one point, and then he's like redemptive Christian Bale at the end. Like
He's
the
got an
emotions
arc.
he goes
yeah, he
through.
does have an arc.
He's
Yeah.
got
It's a movie. This
Yeah.
it goes back to what I said. This is a movie. So real quick, I wrote down like I know Nick Cage is like doing that like it goes back to the thing. The accent is fucking throwing everybody off. But he's doing some work in this movie. Like everybody in this movie is acting the fuck out of it. Like
Sure.
they are fucking
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
doing all they can. And it was like made me think like this movie is just like this is like a actor and director's movie. Every scene you could see the actors rubbing each other's ego and like building I don't know.
Yeah.
But to me, this is some shit I want to see at the Bell Court. Like I want some kind of art house shit. I want it loud. I want to be forced to watch this in one
Yeah.
sitting. And
Like I'm trying to think of something like Lawrence of Arabia or something. Something kind of like grand in scope like that.
Yeah.
Something like a war epic.
Yeah, see, I was trying to think about that for the movie Marriage. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
all right, let's talk about this. Christian Bale's getting healed. This is kind of like his montage, but it's not a montage because this movie's 2 hours and 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
So we're learning. He's like healing himself. He's learning how to shoot again.
Right.
He's kissing Penelope Cruz in front of Cage.
Oh.
Bold move, right? You
Yeah.
know, because you got an Italian officer, and he's like, "Look, we still got our women. These are our women," and he was like putting a front on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next scene, which is one of my favorite, is a cappella on the beach with Titties and Gunther. Sorry,
Yeah.
didn't mean to use that word. So
Yeah,
sorry.
I forgot Gunter was
Gunther?
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gunther showed
We're
up,
saying
and
Nazi.
he was like,
We're saying
"What?"
Nazi.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nazi.
The
The
Nazi?
Nazi. The Nazi was there, shows up on the beach. He's like, "Dude, what are these Italians doing? Like, let me give them all my cigarettes." And he just opened his pack for one cigarette, and all these Italian dudes just started coming
Yeah,
out of the
took his whole
woodwork.
pack.
Dude, that was fucking hilarious.
But he's like falls in kind of love with these dudes. He like wants to be a bro, right?
No.
He has a conscience. He has a conscience too. I'm sorry, not a conscience. Sorry, that was the wrong word. He has like
He
feelings.
wants to be
he wants to be a dude.
part.
He's
He wants
by
to be
himself.
a part of it.
yeah,
He's
I guess
lonely.
so. But yeah, he's also like kind of still looking down on him, like, and what they're like, they're partying
Yeah.
and shit. Like, even as he wants to be a part of it, he's kind of looking down on him.
Yeah, he's lonely. He's just a lonely Nazi.
I think he is lonely, but I think when he says like I sing in the bath and I sing like because they're inviting him to come sing,
right?
Because apparently that's the big thing they do, and I don't know. You start to feel for this guy at one point.
Don't do it,
and then
Bucky. That's how they fucking get you. Once you fall for once you start feeling for one
I've seen
Nazi.
Inglourious Bastards. I know how it works.
Have you seen Indiana Jones?
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, I don't know. I never felt anything for that guy except for contempt. Man.
I knew that bitch was a bad guy the whole time.
Yeah. Well, he comes
the
back at
uniform
one
gave
point.
it away.
He comes back at one point, like 3/4 to the movie. Let's talk about it. Next thing I wrote down was the bomb on the beach scene.
Building some. Now, so yeah, he gets injured, right?
Building some synergy with the locals. I'm gonna make this grand explosion.
You guys want to see us blow some shit up? Hey, you guys want to see us blow some shit?
That's actually a great part of the movie where they build the fort too far away and then they have to rebuild the fort.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we taking so much time in this movie to do these things?
Because there's not a lot going on.
Because somebody gave these people a budget and they were like, "Fuck it, like let's do an explosion." Because it happens like right at the 1 hour mark too, which is always when there's some kind of fucking something that happens in a movie.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
And then the next thing I have, you guys are gonna have to step in here because I got the bomb on the beach scene, and then I'm at 53 minutes left. I wrote Italian soldiers out with a peace sign, and this is when they withdrew. So this is kind of where the halfway point through the movie,
the war ends.
The war
right?
ends.
Yeah. So we got this scene.
The Allies have landed in Italy.
We can all go home then.
Can't believe it. You really want this war to be over? What is wrong with you Italians?
You don't have your advantages, Gunther.
Advantages?
The advantage of thinking that other races are inferior to yours.
It's a question of science. You can't alter a scientific fact.
I don't care about science.
Fuck that.
It's morality that counts.
What is your morality?
If I were to see a man being set upon by others, I would think that man was my brother. That is my morality. I would make myself believe it's personal.
For me, too, the war is personal. Lost both my grandfathers in the Great War.
What that you started.
My father's brother, two of my mother's brothers. I grew up in a country where it was hard to survive. We were hungry all the time. All we ever knew about was defeat. But now...
Sometimes it is better to lose than to have so much blood on your hands.
It's a beautiful night, and everything is peaceful. And we should think about falling in love.
Dude, that fucking John Hurt line is just like so solid right there.
Yeah.
What country did Gunther grow up in?
Germany.
So...
Or was he Austrian? Was he Austrian?
No, he was. I'm
I
pretty sure
thought
he was.
said that he was he wasn't like a
It
German
was a different
Jew.
part of Germany or something like that, but it was still like.
He's a Nazi.
Yeah, it was still part of Germany because it was like what he's talking about is like after Germany started World War One or lost World War One, and that was just like the country went to shit. Like it was just like they were in shambles and like people were starving and fucking.
They had to pay reparations,
and then the Nazis came in and helped build the country back up basically, or that's like. That's the most basic, dumb
nationalism.
Way to say it. But
they built everybody back up, saying, "Hey, we shouldn't take this shit." It's, and it's
we're
these
really
people's
great.
fault.
Yeah.
Fuck these neighbors and all this stuff.
You know what can turn that around?
A mandolin playing song.
What happens in the exact same scene right after that quote is the beautiful playing of Nicolas Cage's character Antonio.
And real life.
Did he? There's no way. There is no way he
Real
played
life.
that in real life.
He's
100%.
not doing much here.
It's not. He's not Jimmy Page.
Let's be serenaded by the beautiful playing.
I mean, give me 2 weeks and an actor's paycheck, and I'll fucking play this.
Give me 2 weeks.
maybe cut a record.
So this whole time, Penelope Cruz is like, oh shit, there's
wet
like
as
more.
hell.
Yeah, she is. I mean, it's the slow zoom on her face. It's the same fucking shit as in the as on Nick Cage in the last movie.
Right.
Slow to zoom on the face makes you know she's falling in love.
And Gunther, hard as hell.
Dude.
No.
For the local chick, and man,
I was talking about for Nick Cage's Mando.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because right after this, he's like, that was beautiful. He was the first person to say anything. Everybody else was just quiet.
Yeah. Because they read the moment.
He did want to be like he's like the kid who has to talk all the time.
Yeah, I got a buddy like that.
Fuck you.
All right, can we kill this?
Yeah. All right, let's move through it. The war is over. The Italians, soldiers.
It's not over, but it's over for the Italians.
It's over for the Italian part of this.
So, real quick, though, one thing I wanted to bring up, like, they're all excited that the war is over. What do they think they're going back to? That's what I think is like they're not even thinking about, like, their country has just been fucking defeated, they
think it's just home. They keep telling them it's just home. You're going home.
Well, it sounds like they didn't give a shit about Mussolini either, right?
No,
I don't.
Yeah, they were. It feels like they were drafted into it, but still, like, your country is going to be just fucked.
But you get rumors of, like, the other Italians having to go to the concentration camps, right? And like you get rumors about that. It's like a little comment off to the side. And then the soldiers are out there like, you got to get out of Greece, go home, have fun, do whatever. And then on the road, the German-Italian standoff is like, this scene is incredible. And I just wrote, fuck these Germans. Which,
right, yeah.
Man,
it's bullshit because they were making them, like, give up their guns.
Yeah.
And they were doing it. And this one guy just wants to be like, man, fuck you. And they shot him. And then they shot three more of them.
Flicked a cigarette in the Nazi's face. I mean,
I'm
not saying
him.
exactly. Good for him. Good for him. But yeah, I don't know.
That's a fist fight. That's not.
You got to know you're going to probably get shot if you do that to a fucking
right, dude. You're
like,
talking about a Nazi. They're killing anybody indiscriminately. Well.
What happens next?
More or less.
All right, what happens next? Let's round the troops up, the Italians, and let's come up with a good revenge plan. I love a good revenge plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the locals and the Italian leftovers.
Let's get back into the movie. I wrote Petros. Christian Bale is a bad dude now, and then I wrote boo, and then I go wait. And I remember thinking for this podcast, you need to pull out the video from when Christian Bale comes up over those rocks with that gun in this revenge plot.
Yes, he is badass in that scene. But also at the same time, these are the dumbest fucking people ever because their whole they're coming in with a tank. Like, their tactic is just like to fight them on the main street. No, like, if people are invading your city, it's like you go guerrilla tactics or something like that. You don't just fucking go down Main Street with your machine gun and try to stand up against a tank.
Yep.
Yeah. I think they were running this was their budget, and they're like, we gotta get it all in one shot. We can't prolong this war.
Or it was just like, hey, we got a budget for a tank to blow some shit up.
Yeah.
So, like, let's
and they do blow it all up.
Yeah. No, they blow everything up.
So the Germans are basically destroying the city.
Yeah.
And Penelope Cruz runs barefoot into the town in a war zone. She
grew up on the island.
She's got some balls, right?
She grew up on the island.
No gun, no anything.
Everywhere.
Just runs down there and makes sure, everybody's all right. And this is where I go, most of these defeated dudes that they're, like, packing up on those trucks, I said most of these defeated dudes look like Pedro Pascal. It was just a bunch of, like, side dudes.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Do they all have mustaches?
Yep.
Side dudes.
Side.
All Penelope Cruz's side dudes.
All these side dudes.
Then they dump all these side dudes off, and this is one of the craziest scenes in the movie. This is where some shit gets, like, real intense because, like, they're all out there and they're, talking to Germans and they're being told that they can go home.
Yeah.
And then fucking, like, Antonio sees Gunther, and Gunther's walking like off in the distance.
Yeah.
And I wrote down, I bet he's gonna sing. And that is not what happened at all.
Yeah.
Been a
I
very
said, I
different
bet
direction.
he's gonna sing. And then the next note I wrote, and I love doing this, is holy shit, firing squad.
Oh my God.
Damn.
They're Nazis.
Yeah, and I was like, they're gonna get killed, like, but I was not ready for like that fucking level of
Yeah.
like just fucking
was-
ambush violence.
It was like
just
The
fucking-
Godfather when they kill Sonny. It was
Dude,
like,
yeah.
Dude, I mean,
it's
they
like-
just pushed over that barrier and just like,
Yeah.
and like you're like,
Because you
"Oh."
thought it was gonna be the other guys, and then it was just like,
Yeah.
bam,
Yep.
no, it's actually these more giant machine guns over here.
Yeah.
Like,
As a viewer, you're like, holy shit. And then Gunther for the save. Gunther comes in.
Gunther
Shoots one guy
one dude in the fucking
in the
face.
face. He's a Nazi, man. Quit trying to save
Okay,
Gunther.
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to save
Don't-
Gunther.
Yeah, stop.
I'm
Don't
just
defend
saying
a Nazi.
David Morrissey allowed Nick Cage to live,
Is a
correct?
fucking fascist, and he was a fascist in Walking Dead also.
Yeah.
But okay. So let's go back, and he wants to be a part of this a cappella singing group, and he's finally making headway, and now he lets the leader live of the a cappella group.
He's probably just out of bullets.
He was not out of bullets. You
he's
saw
a-
it in his face.
Yeah,
and
I don't know. He didn't kill him, but
He
you know,
didn't.
it was
Yeah.
whatever.
And he didn't
yeah.
kill him. He should have killed him, because after this we see Antonio, or Nick Cage character, basically hates his life. Like, I mean,
Well, he
he's
gets
miserable.
let's talk about it. He gets fucking saved by Christian Bale. Like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
dude he stole his fucking girl. Like, comes in,
Right.
Could have left him there.
Could have
Fucking
killed him.
ate the-
Yeah.
There was a point where I was like, this is his chance to kill him right here.
But he
like,
didn't. Yeah,
scot free.
Yeah, but he wasn't like that. I don't know.
He's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Mandrus is not a bad guy. But yeah, Cage wants to die. Corelli wants to die, or he just lost his whole squadron. He's in intense pain. And now he's got to escape.
So he
Like,
decides to roll out.
Right, because he's a liability to this family that he loves.
So real quick, the mandolin comes back into play there because they use the mandolin strings to like fucking do surgery on him or whatever.
That is true.
Like,
Stitch him up.
stitch him up, or yeah, I guess.
And then he gets mad when she's like, we can get some new strings and all that stuff. And he's just like, he's a curmudgeon. And
No, he is fucking PTSD, like
Yeah.
shook.
Yeah.
Like he is in some state of shock that like he is never like he. Yeah, I mean, just think about that. Like your fucking last thing you remember is just a firing squad, and then you wake up and you're back in the same town, and it's like everybody's dead but you. Like
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
a mind fuck. Like,
Yeah.
of course you would be fucking shook and just like I don't know.
All
Yeah,
right.
he gets
So-
off the island.
Yep. And then Cruz goes back to Bale
No.
to end it. I didn't. She goes back to Christian Bale, and I think that they're going to get back together.
Yeah.
But she goes to end it, which is another like twist to me. Is like she's like, "Hey, look, this is it. Here's your ring back. I'm not into this either."
Yeah.
And this is where like we get the montage of like between then and 1947, which war's over, everything's back to good.
Yep.
She's a strong. Like I guess single mother, is that her daughter or
She
stepdaughter?
adopted,
Like adopted
the
her
neighbor,
or something?
Yeah.
Lemony Snickets.
But we learned we
Her
learned
daughter,
from
Liberty Snickets.
did we learn from a voiceover that she's like this? I think it was the doctor's voiceover that she's like a strong woman. She doesn't need anybody. She's a doctor now. She doesn't think
Yeah.
about men and all this stuff.
kinda
They
like a
basically
letter.
fucked her up.
Sounds like a letter from the doctor to Corelli, but yeah, it's
That's
the
it.
doctor.
You're
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
because he sent her the record.
right.
And then the doctor wrote her back. Ooh, what about the fucking? I said 1947. Oh shit, this dude died in a landslide. Like
Oh, the earthquake.
the earthquake
Yeah.
and like
yeah,
When that happened, I was just like, what in the fuck is this movie? Like,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
going on
Yeah.
in this movie? And turns out, like, there really was an earthquake
Yeah.
on this. Like this kind of based on a factual thing or
Actual
something.
thing,
You know?
yeah.
But I guess the earthquake happened like a little bit later
I think,
in like the real world,
Right,
like in
I think so.
early 50s or something like that. But anyway,
Yeah,
like
it pays tribute, to the Italian soldiers killed by the Germans and the earthquake.
yeah, because
casualties.
because I was just like, why? What
Right,
direction?
yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
This is a natural disaster movie now.
I literally wrote, "Oh shit, this dude died in a landslide and never got the letter out to Antonio," and then I put NM and circled it. Never mind, because when she shows up, he's like sitting across the street.
They're not going to make John Hurt go out like that.
No. And then I've got the big Cage coming back ending, like, you know.
Yeah, he looks like he's aged some.
He
like
looks like he's aged.
Yeah.
Like he's got the gray sides. He's starting to get the poly on the sides.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 4 years, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And he's had a hard time dealing with the shit. I wrote down, like, just think about, like, that for a second. Like, you haven't had any communication with this chick at all. The dad didn't get the letter out because of the earthquake or whatever. All you know is you sent her your record. She never responded. So you're like, fuck it.
No,
I'm
the
just
dad did get the letter out.
No, he didn't. When he was writing it, like, the earthquake happened.
I swear the letter went out because in that final scene, Nick Cage says to her, "Your dad told me," and the way it told you was the letter.
Okay.
Maybe
there's more than one correspondence.
Yeah,
or
maybe so,
maybe that was it. You're right. Maybe there's more than one, but he
Yeah.
told him something.
Okay.
That's
Well,
the only
regardless,
reason he came back.
like no phone, no anything. You're just like, I'm just gonna go back to this island and hope that she's like in the same area or something. You know, like
she's not
kind of like that
Tom fisherman.
That Tom Hanks movie where he's on that island forever. No, the one with the volleyball.
Polar Express.
No. Anyway, he goes back, and 4 years later, she's married and with kids and whatever.
Yeah, and now it's like nowadays, you know, you get ghosted on 2 texts, and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
This motherfucker went to an island.
Anyway, that is this week's version or review of Captain Corelli's Mandolin. That is our step through. We do a couple of segments on Casting Cage to round out these episodes. One is Movie Marriage, where we take 2 movies that probably inspired this movie, or we think inspired this movie, or give you the best example of what this movie would be if you decided to go out and find it yourself and look it up and go watch Captain Corelli's Mandolin. What 2 movies do you have this week, old boy?
The 2 movies to make this movie, I have Casablanca, which is I believe takes place post World War II, and then I've also got Last of the Mohicans, which I think involves like a love triangle with an occupier. You get that British soldier in there that I think that's kind of involved with the American lady. Anyway, it's kind of there's a love triangle period piece, something there.
So I don't know, man. I had like any World War II movie, and like, gosh, I struggled on this. I don't know, like a romantic comedy, or not even a comedy, but like, just a Shakespeare in Love and a war movie in World War II,
and Saving Private Ryan.
I've got Pearl Harbor, which I think was this movie, and Time to Kill.
Because the Italian soldiers just fuck off the whole time.
Because they're as bad in Time to Kill as Nazis, or at least he is, and that's just a plug that Enrico Silvestri should have won Cage Fight. And Pearl Harbor is the whole like go away to war. Don't know they're going to come back.
Yeah, you're right about
hooking
that.
up with Josh Hartnett, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Another segment that we have is called Tagline. That's where we let Juicebox read the original tagline that you would find like on the movie poster or something, and then we create our own taglines based on what we saw during Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
So I struggled to find a tagline, and I even went and like looked at movie posters and shit. Did you find anything?
I did find one. I didn't write it down, but I did find one. Hold on.
The only one I found was Captain Corelli's Mandolin from the director of Shakespeare in Love. That was like,
Hey, that probably
was
sold
on
it.
every single movie poster.
We'll create our own since
We're
there are
go-
no
we're
that
gonna
we can
have to.
find.
Love is a temporary madness, maybe. But
Do you
want to
go? You want to go first?
I guess, man. All right. Captain Corelli's mandolin. He can play the mandolin like a motherfucking riot. I saw like a meme or something the other day. It said they think that Sublime song's so fucking funny because he says he can play the guitar like a riot, and then he plays a lame ass guitar. Anyway, I just thought that would be fun. Go ahead.
Captain Corelli's mandolin. Fuck Nazis.
Each and every time.
Easy. No, not like easy. Like
Yeah, what are you saying?
What are you offended? Are we hurting Gunter's feelings?
Captain Corelli's mandolin. Christian Bale should have been.
Captain Corelli?
Captain Corelli's mandolin. Christian Bale should have been accredited.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I don't really have another one.
All right, now that we've gotten through those two things, it's time to get on to our ratings. We have a 3-tier rating system. Best, middle of the road, worst movie that we've seen so far. We do these each and every time we do these episodes. I'm going to go out of the gate. I'm going to go ahead and give my rating this week because these guys think that for some reason I follow them or I, wait to see what everybody else's rating is before, I kick.
Sure.
I'm like, what?
We're all
like
guilty
stirring
of it,
the
but-
pot
Yeah,
or whatever you think.
I honestly don't think that's that bad of a thing. Like you guys have convinced me like both ways on your arguments on movies before. So
Okay. I'm going to get into it. Really quick explanation before I give my rating. This is incredibly shot. It is a beautiful movie. We have brought it up in this podcast. The acting is unreal, and maybe they're jacking each other off, and maybe they're stroking each other's egos and whatever. But I think John Hurt, I think Penelope Cruz, Christian Bale, David Morrissey, I think, a lot of people do great in this movie. I think Cage does okay. I'm not giving him, it's the accent, obviously. But he's coming off some big shit, like the late 90s to early 2000s. And, let's talk about it after our ratings, but why did he pick this project? Why this one? And I think the story's awesome. I think occasionally you need a love story. I need to see this in the theater. I'm not going to watch this on my couch.
All right, I'm a little tired,
Gets
a little
my
wired,
middle-of-the-road
and I think
rating.
I deserve a little appreciation.
But did you watch this on your couch?
I watched it in the bar in my basement.
Standing
Not,
up.
yeah, not the most ideal situation.
Huh.
You want to go or you want me to go?
Man, it doesn't matter. I can go. All right. So I struggled to find the connection between the two, and and his accent is bad. It's real bad, but I think there's some redeemable things in there. I think overall the story is a kind of a classic story. Everybody knows the story. I wasn't surprised by the story. Honestly, Christian Bale was probably the most refreshing thing out of the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I learned a few things. Like I didn't realize that all that shit was real, more or less. So I kind of appreciate that.
Like World War II?
Yeah, man. Did you know? This is the second time they fought.
As real as you want it to be.
So I watched it. I didn't care much about it. I'm not going to watch it again. I'll never watch this movie again. But I think I'm gonna give it middle of the road. I'm being more lenient. I don't know where my butt is.
All right, I'm a little tired, a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.
And I think
just a little.
I think the dad was a gaslighting dad. I don't know if I like the dad. I know he wants the best for his daughter, but I thought, man, just let her make her own decisions, dude. Don't marry her off to an occupier.
Yeah. So, like, I was dreading this movie. I was not looking forward to this movie at all because I've been like having a bad taste in my mouth with fucking City of Angels and The Family Man. I'm like,
Right.
I'm not into these type of movies.
You didn't like Family Man?
No, I gave it my worst rating. I hated that movie.
Can we? Yeah. Need to take a sub.
So like I forgot to write it down, but I was gonna go like Moonstruck as half of my movie marriage because it has like
Good
that
call.
a little bit of conflict, like saying,
Right.
you know, it's more, I guess, more high stakes than this, obviously. But so anyway, I agree with what Bucky said. Like the acting was awesome. Like every fucking scene was just like perfect. Like it just looked good. And you say, why did Nick Cage make this movie? And I think Nick Cage made this movie because he probably saw Shakespeare in Love, and I'm assuming like I don't know. I feel like I've seen that movie maybe one. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But like I haven't watched it like with an open mind. Probably it probably looked incredible, or there was something about that movie that stood out to him. And also, similar to Time to Kill, I feel like they're like, we're gonna go to this fucking island in Greece that is like a tropical fucking island. There's a nice ass beach with like fucking emerald blue water, and we're gonna shoot this movie there for 2 months.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get
On
paid
location.
fucking $5 million or something stupid because they gave us an insane amount of money because people are just throwing money around at this point in time, I guess.
You're going to get 10 cars for this one.
Well, he's probably got his own island out of this.
I mean,
You're
so
going to get one of the 247 islands.
yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling on and on, but I'm going.
Yeah, he's awful damn good. I think I got the best one.
I think this movie
Awesome.
is the fact that it was 28% on Rotten Tomatoes is crazy to me because this movie is fucking good. This is a good movie. I know
Yep.
you say you're never gonna watch it again, but man, there's a lot of good shit there's a lot of good stuff in this movie.
I would
And
take
and
my
I
wife to
feel
see
like-
it in the theater.
I agree. I think it's got all the ingredients to be a good movie. There's just some things.
I mean, you just have to get past the cliche love story and shit. But like you said,
Right.
it's a known story. Like, dude goes off to war. Someone like gets with his wife. There's a whole fucking subreddit that's about that. It's still going on like all
Yeah.
the time.
Oh, yeah,
you know
all
what I'm
the
saying?
time.
Like that
Yeah.
is a fucking story that's like from the
Is a
beginning of
true-
time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this movie is a masterpiece.
It's in
and
Hamilton.
it's insane. Maybe I shouldn't say masterpiece, but I think this movie, like you said, I can't say it enough. Beautifully shot. Everybody acted the fuck out of it, even though sometimes it felt like maybe they were acting a little too much and the accents were all over the place.
Yeah.
But you have to look past that. I could look past Nick Cage's accent because I think he was doing a fucking great job in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he fucking was like shook after like the fucking he barely survived like the massacre and shit. Like I don't know. He played a convincing character.
Yep. I agree with that. Before we get out of here, because we've been rambling on, but we're excited to come back with another episode of Casting Cage, where we're actually going to review the first movie that Nick Cage ever directed.
The only movie.
The
he
only
ever
movie
directed.
he's ever directed, called Sunny. But before we get out of here, I want to find out, because we do this every week, and Juicebox brings it up for us, what else was in the theater? Because was Captain Corelli's Mandolin even released in the theater?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, it was. It had to have been, because these are major actors, right? Penelope Cruz, Nick Cage at the time, Christian Bale not credited. I'm going to keep saying that because, God damn it, he's the best part of this movie. But I want to know what else was in the theater.
Like he is great in this movie, but I also think that like his limited use in this movie is also kind of what makes him so great. Like he's utilized the perfect amount to just be like the kind of fucking like I don't know. He's to be that character.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe he could have played the lead. I do agree he's an awesome actor, but I think he was utilized an appropriate amount.
Ooh, that brings up a good point. Dude, I swear to God, if Christian Bale was this character and Nick Cage was Christian Bale's character, I bet this movie would have won a fucking Oscar. Because if you just imagine it, Christian Bale's got a better fake Italian accent.
I mean,
he's more believable.
Yeah, he was doing a Greek accent, but yeah.
Well, I bet he could nail an Italian.
Yeah, he read the script.
All right, so anyway, so it's weird to think about too. Like this movie came out like 1 month before 9/11, before shit was just like,
Did it really?
The world changed. You know what I'm saying? This is a movie about like people going off to war, and fucking like 3 months later, people were like going off to war.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so number 1 movie that week, American Pie 2.
All right.
Number 2 movie, Rush Hour 2. The movie called The Others, The Princess Diaries. Then Captain Corelli's Mandolin came in at number 6. It made $7 million the opening weekend. I mean,
what? Wait, The Others, like the horror movie?
Nicole Kidman?
I guess. I don't know.
The one where they sneak in that, like the 3 people with the mask go in the house, and that dude's in there with the
that's
shot.
The Strangers. I think The Others is a Nicole Kidman.
It is. You're right.
Movie.
You're right.
Gotcha.
That was actually a good one. I saw that in the theater.
Planet of the Apes, Jurassic Park 3, Legally Blonde,
3s,
Dr. Dolittle 2,
2s.
The original Fast and the Furious.
Dude, I must have been in college and not watching movies.
What did Captain
Corelli?
Corelli?
It's 2001.
Can you look at what
Memento was still in the theater?
What did Captain Corelli make?
Pearl Harbor.
Said $7 million first weekend.
So, according to IMDb, it cost $57 million and some to make, and it eventually made $63 million or something, like worldwide box office, which makes sense. It's like
eventually.
But it's like that type of movie that's like a slow burn, and maybe people liked it more overseas, because I feel like its overseas gross was more than its domestic gross.
Gotcha.
People were really getting into Cage and Cruise back then.
And it's just like that. Yeah, and it's like a historic movie, Yeah,
They
U.S.
over.
grossed $25 million, worldwide grossed $62 million.
There you go.
So
they dubbed him in Italian.
Jeez.
Nick Cage dubbed over
in Italian. It probably killed it over there.
Well, this has been another episode of Casting Cage. We hope you really enjoy wherever you are listening to us or watching us right now on YouTube. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast network. We're on everything: Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, podcast.com. I don't know what the hell they do anymore. You can find us on social media at Bucky's Basement. You can find us at buckysbasement.com. And as always, wherever you can find us, you Google that thing. If we're not at the top, we're not doing it right. Google that thing. Yep.
That's what we're going to start
Google
saying.
that thing. We're going to come back at you for the next episode of Casting Cage here in a couple of weeks with the first ever directed movie by Nick Cage, only ever directed movie by Nick Cage, called Sunny. Starring James Franco, set in New Orleans, which is our favorite town. So if you're excited about that one, if you're excited about any of the ones that we've done, if you're excited about our podcast, if you are out there, you're liking, you're commenting, you're subscribing, you're doing all the things, there's one thing you haven't done, and that is something that we like to remind you each and every week. Old boy?
Tell the mama.
and
the boys.
Rising to the street, light me up that cigarette and I'll strap shoes on my feet. Got to find a reason things went wrong. Got to find a reason why my money's all gone. And I got a Dalmatian, yeah, and I can still get by. And I can play the mandolin like a feather plucking riot. Too short, so love the one you got, cause you might get run over or you might get shot. Never start no static, I just get it off my chest. Never had a battle with no bulletproof